let's talk about Jed York. And I love this topic, and I'm glad that you brought it to the forefront when we were talking about what we should discuss when we talk about the show. Jed York does deserve to be brought up because I think that Jed York, for many years, has definitely been thrown under the bus. And I think up until this most recent run, a lot of people would make the argument that he's not a very good owner. And I could see how you could make that argument after the way the Harbaugh era ended and getting Harbaugh out of here and then going from, Chip Kelly and Tom Zula and all these terrible coaches. I understand it. But what he has done here in putting together this front office and this regime and keeping it together, yeah, I have a gripe maybe that he extends people a little too early, but I will say he stays out of the way, it seems, as far as decision making goes, and allows the football people and the football minds to make football decisions. And it has paid off in a big way that the 49ers have been very, very competitive for a good stretch here. And it seems like if they have found their quarterback and he's elite the way that some people believe he is, then they should remain competitive no matter what's going on around him. So that right there deserves talking about. Overall, how much credit do you give to Jed York for what's been happening? And do you believe that he has turned the corner from being a bad owner or being in that conversation to being, frankly, a pretty good owner? What do you think?
He's matured a lot. I will say that much. He
Yeah.
used to be more on the camera, like in your face. We constantly heard from him. And now since he's got Kyle and John, he's really taken the back seat and you don't really hear from him. I haven't heard from him all year. Last time we heard from him was at the owners meeting where understandably he's there and that makes sense why he's there and he's talking to the press. But really, you haven't heard from Jed York at all. He's found his guys in John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan, who he has continues to extend. I mean, me personally, I think it was unnecessary to extend those guys, even if they're doing a great job. I felt that was a little unnecessary, but hey, he found his guys and he's happy with it and he's willing to take the back seat and let them do their thing. And so I think he deserves credit for that. And this team is really good and they are great at building up this roster. And they do have a great coach and a good GM. And so everything kind of fallen into place. And it looks like Jed York has done a great job so far. So we'll see. I mean, they got to pull it off. They got to win the Lombardi. That's what really matters. If they do that, then yeah, hell yeah, Jed York, man, he deserves his flowers. But overall, he's built a good team, good roster, good coaching staff, good general manager, and he's backed off, not tried to be in the limelight. And I don't like owners that are all in your face, right? Trying to make all the decisions. So I'm glad that Jed York has done what he's done over the last couple of years. I still think as great as Kyle and John are, a little premature extending them. I think it was unnecessary. But hey, if it works out, it works out. And so it's just kind of TBD. But overall, I think you've seen growth from Jed York.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think at the very least, he's turned the corner from bad owner to respectable owner. Until you win one, you can't be a great owner. I understand all of that, but he's definitely respectable. And he's not a guy that we should try to just oust out of being an owner. You got Milaniac who brings up David Tepper. Could you imagine if that was the owner of the 49ers? And it's not even throwing the drink this last week. It's everything that's led up to that on top of it. It's you basically you built this whole staff this offseason and you said you were going to stay out of their way to make decisions. Mm-hmm. Well, now it's come out that they basically wanted CJ Stroud and you said, no, we're taking Bryce Young. And then after 11 weeks, you fired them after you handpicked them. That guy is an awful owner. And then you add in the whole drink throwing thing. He's terrible. That's what a terrible owner looks like. I agree with you, Milaniac. Completely agree. Brother Bob says, I get into confrontations all the time. I don't know why. And then Matt says, I have a few thoughts, Brother Bob. Very funny. GTC Real says, Brock can be elite next year. He has to learn how to dump a play. 2 passes last week irked me. This may be who he is, but throw away the secure possessions. Yeah, I mean, I think that when you look at Brock Purdy and the things that he's improved on from last year to this year, and most impressively, really not having an off season. Like let's be real about the situation that was at hand for Brock Purdy. This was supposed to be his first full off season. He wasn't healthy, so he spent it rehabbing, and he was able to improve in so many ways. Most notably for me, the pocket presence and staying in the pocket, not bailing out of the pocket too early. Now there are times where games will go by and he doesn't even bail. And I'm thinking to myself, Bud, you can use your legs. Like, you're very athletic. It's okay to bail sometimes. He's almost staying in the pocket sometimes to a fault, but that is such an improvement to where he was at last year. And you see some of the other micro improvements he's made, and you have to applaud him. So, yes, is he perfect? No. But if there are some things that you think he needs to improve on, I wouldn't bet against him improving on those things this offseason. If he sees that they are an issue as well, I think you would start to see him improve this offseason. All right, I'll get through the super chats here. There we go. GTC Reels. Flav says, sorry if you already discussed, but I assume Ambry is done for the year. Hopefully we don't have to go back to what's his face and what's up with Brown. No, he's not done. He's supposedly having surgery and will be able to play in the playoffs. So I think that everything is going to be fine there. So, and what's up with Brown? Brown? Am I missing something, Flav? I'm not really sure what you're referring to, bud. Brother Bob says, okay, care to share? Curious to hear your thoughts. We'll save it for another time. Hit my DMs. And then Dazza says, I always hear a lot of Brock Purdy and CMC talk. I think we need to give Trent more props. I think he's the Niners' best player. Yeah, Dazza, we discussed this a little bit earlier. I think all the players are fantastic. I think that's really where we need to start. All of them have been fantastic. We have 4 players over 1,000 yards. One of them over 2,000 yards. Brock Purdy just broke the 49ers franchise single season record. I think all of them deserve praise. We can get into the weeds a little bit when we say, hey, this player's the best, this player's the best. Well, when this player was out, look at how it went. We're never truly going to know. All I know is that they are good to go. Ah, there we go, Flav. Thank you. Jair Brown's knee. I forgot that he didn't even play this week. I think everything that it seems like is that he's going to be good to go for the playoffs. It sounds like guys like Jair Brown, Eric Armstead, CMC, guys that would be questionable this week or doubtful are not going to play, and then they're going to play the other starters for at least a little bit. We'll see how long. That's why the bye week, Flav, is so crucial. I think all these guys that we're worried about now are probably going to suit up the first week of the playoffs, and that bye week is the reason why, really, is what it comes down to. So I think everything from that I've heard is that Jair Brown's going to be fine for the playoffs, but we'll see. We'll see, man. All right, y'all. Listen, you guys have a blessed rest of your day. I want to say this. I did put in the description of this tonight, every Tuesday going forward, I'm going to be on an NFC West roundtable with a content creator from Arizona, the Rams, the 49ers, obviously that's me, and I'm trying to blank, and Seahawks. They're so irrelevant. I just, forgot that they were even in existence as far as the conference goes. But the Seahawks, Rams, Cardinals, and myself, I'm actually the smallest content creator as far as subs. So it's a really good group of guys that have a very, very big following. And every Tuesday, we are doing a roundtable. The link to that is in the description. You can check it out for sure. I'll be there tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. And until then, peace.